It's like we were there protesting that they didn't have enough ramps. They're like, oh yeah, you want to see a ramp? We got one for you. Peachtree. Yeah, so we flew to Atlanta, and it had been the first time I had been through airport security. And airport security was different. Like, I got to the front of the line, and the guy's like, he waved me through the metal detector, and I'm like, really? He's like, sir, and like, he waved. I'm like, all right. So I go through it, and it like starts to explode. They're like, do you have anything in your pockets? I'm like, no, but I may have left my belt on. So I go through again, and it beeps, and then like the boss comes over and like pulls me to the side, and he just rubs me down with the like bomb juice stuff, and he sends it through the machine, and it comes back and says you have a suspicious substance on your shoes, which I knew was dog poop, but I didn't have time to explain to the guy how the guy doesn't walk that has poop on his shoes. It's a long story, not for airport security. So they take me to a private screening, and he says, now sir, this is a silly question, but is there any way that you could stand for just a moment so we can inspect your chair? Which I heard some gasps. Not that silly of a question. Some people in wheelchairs can stand for a moment. I'm not one of them. His next question was, are you sure? That's a silly question. But then I had to think about it, because I don't check every day. What if I was healed years ago and I'm just making license? What if I had stood up? Like, oh no, this looks suspicious. Yes, now that you can stand, could you please bend over? Like, no. But, so, they got me through security, and they made me late for my flight. And not late that I missed it, but in a wheelchair, how they do it is they board you first, because they have to put you in what's called an aisle chair. And the aisle chair is a very skinny wheelchair that they slide you over into, and then they put a strap around your legs, they put a strap around your waist, and then they cross both your arms and put a strap around that too. And then they wheel you onto a plane backwards, which is fine if you're first, because no one sees you. But when you're last, a whole plane full of people sees a man they didn't know was in a wheelchair, rolled on backwards like Hannibal Lecter. And you never see somebody pray they didn't have an empty seat. Like people are moving over to other people's seats. Like, I'll take the middle seat. He's not putting that guy next to me. Got the whole row by myself. We had a good time in Atlanta. The hotel we were at actually was hosting a cat show. Which, if you've never been to a cat show, it's like a dog show, but for crazy people. This one was like nationally recognized. It's like the American Cat Fanciers Association of America. Like, you can't get fancier than that. It's in the name. It's crazy. It's like 300 cats, 2 old ladies. You know. That's the joke. There's 100 old ladies, a ton of them. They've got all these cats there. They're selling clothes to make cats look like people. They're selling clothes to make people look like cats. All the owners look like they're cats, except for one lady who was ugly. Like, she stuck out. I got to talking to her. She said, oh, I raise basset hounds. I'm like, I knew it, lady. I can tell you raise basset hounds. You're a hound person. I got you. But, so what they do is how they judge them is they put them in like they call it the ring, and they put them in 10 individual cages at 10 at a time, and they bring them out, and the judge holds them down, and I think if the cat can get loose, I think he wins. Like the first cat to get away wins. But there was this lady, and she's like, she said to one of the other old ladies, she said, what's the points on number 5? Which sounds to me like we're betting on cats, aren't we? Like I don't know, but I'll take that spread. Like I'll put 100 on the Mancoon. I'm boxing trifectas. I'm covering the whole board. And it got real quiet, just like that, real quiet, because they were betting on cats for real, and it's illegal. They had frowned upon. And I'm just blowing up their spot. And in a minute, this guy comes over to me and says, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Now, I'm from Jacksonville. I've been thrown out of nicer places. No one in the American Cat Fanciers Association is about to throw me out of here without making a scene. So I made a scene. I'm like, that lady's betting on cats. She's betting on cats. That lady's taking all the money. That cat used to be a man. That cat's on steroids. The guy says, "Sir." You know you're in trouble when they start adding syllables. And I look, he's got his buddy now, and his buddy has a shirt on with a cat and a police hat that says "Superdy." I'm like, well. He says, "Sir, you failed to pay your admission." I'm like, "Oh, is that it?" Like, how much is it to get into a cat show? It's $5. I said, $5? I've seen enough. I'm leaving. Like I said, I'm not about to be thrown out of a cat show. But I will leave. Those old ladies are mad. Oh man. I'm not against cats though. I like cats. I have a cat. My wife and I, we were thinking about having kids, and we did what a lot of newlywed couples would do. We adopted a cat first. A little trial child. Some people call him a fur baby, but he's a grown cat, so he's more like a fur adult. His name is Melvin, which is probably why he didn't get adopted as a kitten. Like, not a lot of little girls looking for a Melvin the cat, you know? So, I'm glad we adopted him too, because it took about 3 days before I ran him over in this chair. Yeah, he got down in front of me, and I wasn't paying attention. And I pulled forward, and I just heard, and I panicked, because I didn't know what to do. But if you've never run over a cat before, sometimes it sounds like a fire alarm is going off. So I just froze, and my wife comes out, she says, "You're right on top of the cat." I said, "No kidding, is that what that is?" She says, "Move." But I didn't want to go forward in case I hadn't run him all the way over. But I couldn't throw it in reverse either in case I had. So she said, "Back up." So I back up, and the cat flies out from underneath me in a streak of cat fur and carpet samples. And he gets up underneath the dining room table, and he stays there for 3 days. He doesn't come out to eat. He doesn't come out to go to the bathroom. He just growled at me as I rolled by for 3 days. And on the third night, he comes out, and he jumps right in my lap. And my wife says, "Oh, he forgives you." I'm like, "No. This is a smart cat. He knows if he's on top of me, he can't be underneath me." It's a thinker. But I notice that he's blinking a lot, like an abnormal amount for a cat, which does kind of make sense because instead of like a "ree," it was more like a "ree." So I might have got his face a little. I don't know, there was cat coming out all 4 sides. So we took him to the vet, and the vet says he has post-traumatic ocular extrusion, which sounds expensive. Remember, we adopted this cat, which means for $20, we get a new cat. He said, "No, basically you just ran over his butt so hard that his eyes bugged out." He's like a little kitty tube of toothpaste, you know? That is just a joke, folks.